Hello. How is everyone? Are you freezing your tushies off? We are. And I know if we are here in Central Florida, then the rest of you all must be too, except I think I noticed Anne. Anne, you're not properly freezing. Get with the program. I'm just kidding. Lucky you. Well, I say lucky you. I don't know. Bo was very happy this morning when he came back in and said, it's 36 degrees outside. He was thrilled, let me tell you. So I'm pretty happy too, I have to say, because I mean, I've got on my coziest pair of fleece your feet socks. These babies have been worn like crazy. I'll talk more about. Oh, these aren't fleece your feet. It's the same yarn, but it's just a vanilla sock pattern. Yeah. But anyway, this is the time of year that I definitely wear these socks a lot. So yeah, so we're definitely cold. And I saw y'all doing the wind chill thing and all that. So everybody but Anne is freezing. So, okay. Hey, Cheryl, I'm glad to see you here. And I know I saw Laura and Joe Carroll. Joe Carroll, we are really going to miss you next weekend. Next weekend is the Sunkissed Fiber Festival. Laura is making an appearance. We are so privileged to have Laura making an appearance, that's for sure. And let's see, who else did I see on here? I already called Ann out. Linda, who's properly freezing. And let's see, hey, Katrin, glad to see you here. And Donna, yes, Donna is appropriately freezing like us because we're pretty much. Although I think sometimes, Donna, you being closer to the water sometimes affects y'all are either colder than us or warmer, just depending, you know how it is. All that geography plays a part in the temperatures. So, how are the orange trees? I read recently, and I've seen evidence of it too. I remember back when I was in high school and then even college, driving, through Central Florida to the different places I had to go, and there were just orange groves everywhere. Like you were always seeing them. Now, I mean, we just don't see near as many. And I think there was a disease that killed off a lot of them. So I want to say, is Florida even the number one orange producer anymore? I think that was at risk or something because it's just they're not near as prevalent as they used to be. But anyway, I might be getting some of my facts wrong, but you definitely don't see near as many orange trees. Yep, Gulfport. My mama is in Gulfport, Donna. Hey, Kim, glad to see you. Anybody that I've missed? Hey, Sharon from Freezing Beach in New Smyrna. So you just can't get away from it, Sharon. You can either go to New York and freeze your butt off, or you can come to Florida and freeze your butt off. So, actually, you have family out west, right? So you could go enjoy a little bit more warm weather. Let's see, Mary Ellen, also over in the St. Pete Gulfport area. Happy to see you. Hello, Star and Tish. Oh, it warmed up to a balmy 24. I love it. Your sweater is my favorite color. You and me both, sister. I'm going to talk more about this sweater. Dun, 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 in all its glory. And a little bit for sure. I love it. It's perfect for this chilly weather. Hey, Karen, chilly Tulsa. Yep, I'm not surprised. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you are right by the water where you are, Donna. Hello, Deborah Sue. I'm glad to have you here. And yeah, I know, Sharon, it does sum it up. I know you pretty well, don't I? Except you don't spend much time with us down here anymore. All right, so let me tell you, last weekend was Distaff Day in Orlando. It's one of our favorite events. I think it's probably the first event Yarn Lounge would have been the first event that Bo and I worked together. But in terms of like vending a booth together, Distaff Day was the first event. And it was technically, if you think about festival events, not trunk shows, it was also really the first festival type vending that I did as Swan City Yarns. So it has a lot of special memories for us. We love it. It's close to home. We get to see a lot of our Central Florida people. And there are some people that I only see at Distaff Day. I mean, they're around and I see them on social media, but in terms of coming out to an event once a year at Distaff Day, that's where I see them. I love it. We have such a good time. And this year, one of my, I don't know, people that I look up to, Mary Egbert from Camage Fiber Arts, was there. She is a fabulous spinner. I've even taken a class from her. Like, she is just amazing. She really knows her stuff, right? I mean, and she was in the booth right beside us. And I was so excited to see her. So we got to chat a little bit off and on during the weekend, sorry. And one of the things that she had there, she has written several books, probably more than several, books on spinning and dyeing and all the things. And she had this book here, The Art of Washing Wool, Mohair, and Alpaca. Now, I'm nowhere near cleaning my own fiber. However, I saw this and I was really interested in it. Well, and I thought, I'm going to buy that book before the weekend is over. That'll be my takeaway from Distaff Day. Well, I didn't have to, y'all. Maria, I think a lot of y'all know Maria, lives over in the Clearwater area. She was there. She often comes to Distaff Day, and she comes into my booth to say hi. And she won this book along with some soap packets, I think they are, Power Scour and Fiber Wash. And she had it in its nice little package. And she said, I said, "Oh, what is that?" And she said, "Well, I want it," because they do a lot of raffle prizes, door prizes and raffle prizes. And she said, "I want it." She said, but Maria, as far as I know, is not a spinner. And she was like, "I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it." And I was like, "Well, how would you like to trade it for a skein of yarn?" And she said, "Oh, I would." So we made a little exchange, Maria and I did. And I walked away with this book, and she walked away with a skein of, I think it was burnt butter, because she came back later and bought its partner, which was really not my intent in doing so. But I teased her and I said, "Oh, my nefarious plan is working." Because she was like, it's one. Like, you can't have just one, even though it is on Swanky Sock. So she had a good bit of yardage in that skein. But anyway, I got my book. She got a skein of yarn. I think we both won. It was a win-win situation, So anyway, so that's my takeaway from Distaff Day. It was wonderful. So, all right. Hey, Sue, glad to see you here from Fort Myers. You home yet, Sue? And I know burnt butter. We're going to see burnt butter in our Swan whips today because it has been making an appearance. And I plan on wearing it tomorrow out and about. My Sean sweater in burnt butter and nautical wheelers. Can't wait to do that. But anyway, so yeah, moving on. Hey, Diane, I'm glad to see you here. Kim, you have to have a matching yarn. You have to have, oh yeah. Well, she ended up getting two of the same, but she did buy the last one. So I think she felt bad for the one skein that was remaining. So, which, but you can do a lot with the 1,200 yards of burnt butter. Not one, but two skeins. All right. So moving on, I did want to tell y'all, just to remind you, I have a hat to show y'all today, but don't forget January, our fiber challenge in the Swan City Stitchers Facebook group is hats. And there have been some really cool hats, some really cool stories in there. So if you haven't participated and checked out the thread, because I know sometimes Facebook doesn't alert you to new posts or, within comments if you're not already commenting on a thread. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the thread, go look and see all the cool hats that are in there. I'm very excited about this. I meant to pick out the prize for that, but I didn't get to it because, as usual on Friday mornings, I think I've got all this time. And then suddenly it's like, I got to go set up for the live. Anyway, So I will try to show you all the prize for that. It'll probably be another skein of fluffy lace with a skein of fluffy sock, just because I'm telling y'all, if you have not knit with fluffy sock, the alpaca, silk, and cashmere, you're really missing out. I mean, people come in and they into the booth and they squish it, and even my sample, one of my samples using it, and they're just like, oh, yeah. And it's so versatile. I know it's alpaca. It has a lot of drape, but I've told y'all how to combine it with trusty sock for a pair of luscious DK weight socks. You can knit hats. I'm getting ready to show you a hat that has been done. I knit the chic poncho with it and silky sock together. I mean, you can really do a lot with fluffy socks. So it's very versatile. Anyway, where was I going with that? Talking about fluffy sock. So, Diane, I didn't read your comment, which, by the way, I just wanted to say last week when I finished the live, Bo was like, you just skipped over a bunch of comments at the end. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize. Which I was in a little bit of a hurry just because we needed to go set up for Distaff Day. But I think, so my little streaming software that I use, the interface, it has it'll notify me when I've got new comments. I suspect sometimes if I'm switching between screens, it doesn't always notify me the way that I think it is. And I think maybe it didn't notify me. Anyway, so if you said something important, I apologize that I missed it. Okay, so Diane, 20 centimeters of snow. What is that, like 5 or 6 inches? 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. I can't do math on the spot like that. But anyway, supposed to go to a balmy 28 degrees today. I love it. Cheryl doing a shawl. Yep, with fluffy sock. You can absolutely do a beautiful drapey shawl with fluffy sock. Yes. Sue, you came home on Tuesday. That is awesome. Holy cow, 30 inches of snow. Diane, that's crazy. Are you stuck inside? Are you snowed in? Wait, that's very cold. Okay, y'all. We have got some gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous swan projects to show y'all. Are you ready for it? I don't know if you are. Are you sitting down? You need to be sitting down because we've got some good stuff. So first of all, I have to show, well, actually, I think I might save that one for the end. I just can't forget it. Okay, we'll save that one for the end because it'll segue into something else. So here we go. We will start with Laura's. This is the airless hat. I think that's how you pronounce it. And she used Celebratory 7 and Screamin'. And this is one of those hats or projects that's great. If you have a wildly variegated skein, it would look amazing in this because of the way that the stitches are broken up. And it's cool because it's not just your super basic vanilla stockinette pattern. So that's one nice thing about color work is that if you're someone who gets bored easily, then this will keep your interest. And obviously Laura did an amazing job. So very good. All right. And then, okay, so this, y'all, speaking of burnt butter, this is Taylor. Taylor came to Distaff Day. And it's so nice. Because I'm trying to remember if Taylor, I don't remember if she may have posted this on social media. Her sweater has been done for a while because she bought it towards the beginning of last year. So it's been almost a year since she finished this sweater. I think it was her very first sweater. And I forget the name of the pattern. It might have been, no, I don't remember the name of the pattern. I would have to ask her. But anyway, it was lovely to see her. We met for the first time either at Distaff Day last year or it was at She Sells Yarn. I remember she was at both, and I don't remember at which one. I want to say it was at Distaff Day last year that she bought the yarn for this sweater. So she came up and I was like, oh, we need to take a picture. And I, of course, am not wearing a knit because for once in all the years that I have done Distaff Day, it was not freezing. Now, it was Friday night after we set up. Oh, my goodness. I got so cold. Bo, fortunately, went across the street to Starbucks and got me some coffee because I was freezing. I was wearing my pearl code cardigan on top of my t-shirt and his jacket and trying to stay warm. But they must have adjusted the air because I'm telling you, all day Saturday, it wasn't that cold at all. So anyway, so that's why I'm not wearing a knit. But Taylor brought her sweater and it was awesome to see it. I have to say, it's nice when people, I know that you have so many choices of knits that you can wear to these events. So when somebody wears a project with your yarn to the event, you're just like, oh, I'm so excited. Can we take a picture? And there were some other people there, but I just didn't get pictures of those. So I was so excited to see Taylor there and take a picture with her and her project. All right, next up, this is Danielle from Midwest Stitches, and she actually won this yarn from Leah Gibson of Leah Loves to Knit. Leah did a giveaway with some of my yarn. This was one of the skeins under the mistletoe, and so she knit up a pair of socks. So I grabbed that off of Instagram. And then another pair of socks, Donna knit up the Fleece Your Feet socks. I love it, Donna. And she used slate on fluffy sock and nautical wheelers on trusty sock. And you can see the way the slate really comes out. We were talking about that a little bit this weekend, that with nautical wheelers, when you pair it with slate, you really see the blues come out of the nautical wheelers colorway. And then if you pair it with Cavendish, you really see the greens come out, those golden greens coming out. So it's very cool. I love that she paired them together. All right. Here we have Sue knit up. Let me find my notes here. So this is the Leith hat by Isolde Teague. You all know that name. She did the Musselburgh hat designer, and she used the Family Stone colorway. Nicely done. I love it. All right. And then Kathy made these knits using, she just apparently, so she had made the hat, the Kaylee hat. Y'all remember I showed you that last week. Well, she wanted a pair of fingerless mitts. So she just, did a little bit of double knitting, double stitches. Apparently, it's what I got from it is that she just created it on her own to match her hat. I was like, oh, yeah, there you go. Just whip that up right. But it looks amazing. So well done. And of course, that's Neon Moon and Heliotrope that she used for those. I love it. All right, Lonnie, she might be further ahead than this, but this was the picture that I grabbed. This is Islands in the Stream by Lisa K. Ross, and she's using Cloud Dancer. She's got so many colors in there: berry, pip berries, tall, dark, and handsome, spindle prick red. She's got army green down there at the bottom. You see the green. Yeah, so I think that the green is army, and then it goes to spindle prick red after you've got the Cloud Dancer in between there, and then the tall, dark, and handsome. And then I'm guessing pip berries and berry is at the top of the picture. So I wonder if she's throwing in more colors. Oh no, she says final color will be sweet cherry pie that she just started. Oh, I bet that's down there at the bottom. Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's just good stuff all the way around. All right. And then this is Linda, who has been knitting up hats like crazy. She did post this pair of vanilla socks. Speaking of burnt butter, yet again. But she made a pair of vanilla socks with a shadow wrap heel, I do believe. And she did these in DK, and I believe she gift knit those for someone and sent them on their way. Okay. Oh, burnt butter yet again. Now, I grabbed this from Instagram. I think she posted it on Facebook too. I'm not sure if it was in the Swan City Stitchers or not, but I really appreciate Erica posting this because she wasn't too sure about the color combination. She knew she wanted something similar to this, but apparently is a little out of her wheelhouse. And so, but she paired burnt butter with a slightly lighter version of Lily, that blue that's on Lily. So I just took down the concentrate a notch for her so that it wouldn't be like an overwhelming blue. And that is on fluffy lace that she's pairing it with. So an interesting mix of textures. And I forget the name of the pattern. I think she might have told me in her original email. So we'll see. It's either going to make it and she'll finish the project or she's going to tear it out. So, but either way, I really appreciate Erica posting that. I like it myself, but that's just me. All right. And then Anne, I love this. I'm so glad she posted it. So this is Cloud Dancer on Starry Sock. And then she paired it with Swan White on Fluffy Lace. So the Swan White on Fluffy Lace with its halo is, of course, going to mute out some of the gray and the blue in Cloud Dancer. But I love it. And I'm so glad that she posted it. So I can't wait to see. She's apparently finally moving on from the extra light bright top and is going to knit another sweater. So I'm excited to see what becomes of that. All right. And then I grabbed this off of Instagram, but I know she posted it in the Swan City Stitchers. Samantha Orlando sent me this pic, and she works from home like Bo and is on her computer most of the time. And obviously working, but she's doing a Musselburgh hat in Duke of Hastings. And I meant to message her and ask, because I know she was doing an earlier Musselburgh hat in the colorway Space for You. That was a very old colorway, but it looked so good. So I'm curious what happened to that one as well. So I bet she's already on her second or more Musselburgh hat. So I love it. And then let's see this. Okay, this caused quite the discussion, Laura. This is, what did she say? It's a pattern called, I think it's, oh yeah, The World's Simplest Mittens. And she put her own spin on it, turning it into, I asked, is it a duck or is it swans? And then, of course, that was where the discussion came in. I think Liz said, well, it can't be a swan because the neck's not long enough. They'd have to go up to your elbow. So anyway, either way, as Laura said, they are quacktastic. She used gold and Swan White in trusty DK minis. So it's amazing what you can do with a mini skein. All right. And then last, but certainly not least, this is the one that I wanted to talk about. And Knit Up, y'all, this is the the Chocolate Flight Shawlette, I think it's called. You'd think I would know. I wrote the pattern many, many moons ago, but this is now, I think, Anne's third project using all of these colors, everything from Chicky to Bunny to Birds of a Feather and Lily. And what's cool about this project is they all look a tiny bit different because the entire thing, she held each of those double with a strand of sprinkles in fluffy lace. And so, of course, again, that halo on fluffy lace really impacts the color. So I can't believe that Anne dug that pattern out. I was like, I still have mine. So y'all, this might have been one of the now it wasn't the first thing I ever designed, but it was one of the early things I designed. It was a little shawlette. And this was, I think I knit up 2 samples. One with the colors, going in this direction, and then one with those same colors going out in the other direction. I learned a lot. I think somebody commented that it looked like a difficult pattern. It's not a difficult pattern. I think that if I had it over to do with, I might change some things about it, but it's a fun little knit. So I hope you liked it, Anne. That was very sweet of you to get that pattern and knit it up. I love it. Brings back some memories for sure. So anyway, yeah, that's it. And then, okay, let's see. Oh, hey, Liz. Liz must be on here. And then, oh, you got out today, Diane. That's good. So you're not snowed in. All right. Laura, you made the shawlette? Yeah, a fair number of people did, I think. So yeah, that was, again, one of my early design days. It was fun. I don't have as much time to design these days. I do have a sock pattern that I keep thinking that I want to release. And when I first designed it and wrote it out, I was like, it really works best with the way that the colors go if you do an afterthought heel. And I know an afterthought heel is not the most popular. So I was like, well, now that I've learned the shadow wrap heel, that's like the perfect answer to what I'm thinking is you just pop in a shadow wrap heel. So anyway, who knows? Maybe I'll get those released sometime in the next year. Yeah, anyway. So let me show you what I've been working on. I finished. Actually, let me start with this beauty, this gorgeous beauty that arrived in the mail. No, I didn't just whip out a project this last week. I wish I had that kind of time, but I don't. And I don't knit that fast. So this is the Rocket, 2 words, Rock It T DK by Tanis Fiber Arts. Y'all may have seen Laura. I think I showed it at some point. Laura knit one of these in the our Swan colorway, and I used it. She let me, since it's been warm, she let me use it as a sample, and it has been an excellent sample in the booth. It really catches people's eye and gets them interested in fluffy DK. So I have to say, when I sent it back, I've sorely missed it, especially like at Distaff Day. So we decided, she said, I'll knit you one. And so I sent her some velveteen. That's this color on fluffy DK. And she knit me up my own. She knit a size 3-ish on velveteen. And here it is. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. And I don't, it's just beautiful. I love it so much. I love the sleeves, you can see, and like the Rocket T. I did do a Rocket T in fingering, and it's a short sleeved version, but I love the I-cord details on it that it has on all the bindings where you bind off. It just gives it an extra little edge. And then, of course, the raglan increases you do with yarn over, so it's a nice little detail there. And Laura just did an amazing job. So I'm so excited to have this in my booth. Plus, y'all, this is the first red sweater that I have. I don't understand. My favorite color is red, and yet I have not knit a red sweater before. I don't know what that's about, honestly. I don't. I think, yeah, anyway. So it's high time that I have a red sweater. So, yeah, Laura did such an amazing job. Hey, Valera. Just did an afterthought heel, and you still prefer the heel flap, but afterthought worked this time. Yes, and there are some patterns that it's well suited for, depending on what the design is, or if you have like a cranked tube or something like that. It can be handy. It's not my favorite thing to do, I'll be honest, but yeah. So, okay, moving on. And Laura used a size 4 needle. And so this took her, I think, just under 3 skeins. I read, not bad for size 3. Did I mention that? Size 3, size 4 needle. So, all right. And then I finished my weekend hat by Petite Knit. This is the one I showed y'all. Now look at the difference in color. Do y'all see that? It looks like a totally different colorway, but that is actually a combination of velveteen, dun dun dun, this velveteen on fluffy sock with stargazer on fluffy lace. And because of the halo on fluffy lace, it really impacts the color. So, and now you can see, if I hold it up, you can really see the different specks of the velveteen coming through, but far off, big difference. And so I can wear this like this if I want it to be a little slouchy, or what I was really going for is, thank you, Tish. I think it's a good color for me too. It's a cool red, so it looks good on me since I'm a winter of some sort. I have determined. All right, this is so you roll if you roll up the what is this called? My word, they're leaving me. The brim. If you roll it up twice, it looks like this. Now, I don't think that the original pattern would be quite this rounded. I did my decreases much faster than the pattern called for. I think it had you, if I remember correctly, for my size, which I did the adult small, it had you starting out, alternating the decrease rows for 9 times, and I only did it for 2. And then after that, I went to straight decrease rows until I got to the end. And I was chancing it. I got to tell you, when I first bound off and tried it on, I was like, oh, is that a little tight? And I was like, no, I still have to block it. I blocked it, and now it's perfect. This is exactly the shape of hat that I was going for because I don't have a shaped hat like this. So I really love it so much. And I think it goes nicely with this. I don't think it clashes. And so I'm going to wear it today. Bo and I are going on our little coffee date that we like to do. We like to go downtown, Lakeland here, and we park. There's a coffee shop that we like that's kind of up and around the lake. But instead of parking at the coffee shop, we park down about a half mile away and we walk around the lake called Lake Muir. Walk around the lake. It's a popular walking lake, lots of businesses and things around. And so we walk up around the lake, walk up into downtown, and then go to get our coffee. And then when we leave, so we park here, go up around the lake to the coffee shop. When we leave the coffee shop, we come back around the far side of the lake back to the car. It's only about a mile walk total. So it's perfect during the cooler months. We don't do it during the summer. It's hot. Unless you want to sweat. And we don't really do it for exercise. I mean, it's a nice little walk to get some movement in, but we really do it just to spend time and enjoy the lake and the coffee shop and all that. So anyway, I will be wearing this today, even though it's sunny, but it's cold out. So I got to keep my head warm. All right. So I did that. Oh, I didn't bring it in, y'all. Oh, I started. Do y'all remember me showing you Bo's oxbow cardigan that I knit for him? The sleeves are too long, so I'm ripping back on the sleeves. Okay, I did not know this. Did y'all know this? Some of you, obviously, I'm sure, know this. Mirror Lake is where the swans are. The most swans are around, what's the name of the lake, dear? That the most, Morton. Lake Morton is where most of the swans live. There are some swan statues around Lake Muir. I'm trying to remember if we've seen actual swans on Lake Muir. I don't think so. You definitely see a lot of birds and wildlife and all of that. But yeah, Lake Morton is where they do the big swan roundup and all that good stuff. Hey, Deb, I just saw y'all. Hey, or saw you. Your name. Yes, thank you, Kim and Diane. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think this is a good color too. I think I did good picking out colors. What do you know? Sometimes I manage it. Are you still sick, Deb? Oh, I'm so sorry. You've been sick for a while. Am I remembering this correctly? Or did you get sick again? I hope not. It's okay, Donna. They're all very close. Muir, Morton, and Lakeland is a city full of lakes. I mean, was it last weekend about my stepdaughter Kayla and her boyfriend came down from Nashville, and David, he's such a sweetie, and he was like, I just gave up on the lakes. I was trying to remember them all, but I can't. But they were also over in the town of Winter Haven for a while, which Winter Haven is also a city. It's the chain of lakes is in Winter Haven. So, I mean, it's just endless, the amount of lakes around here. So, Kim, make a sweater to match the hat now. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to having a sweater like that. I do love these colors for sure. And then I started oh, Deb, you started Monday evening. I'm so sorry. That's awful. Because I remember you were sick. Weren't you sick not that long ago? Or was that Kim? I know Kim was sick. Um, okay. So, oofa. Here is, so I had just over half of a skein left of velveteen on fluffy sock. So I decided, I was like, at first I thought about maybe reversing the two colors, like Stargazer on fluffy sock and velveteen on fluffy lace. And then I was like, no, I think it's too close. It would be nice to maybe have a sample to show people, here's what, so that you can see just how much the fluffy lace really impacts the color. But I don't know. I decided not to do that. So instead, Morgan was kind enough and caked me up a skein of pumpkin patch on fluffy lace. So I'm pairing velveteen on fluffy sock with pumpkin patch on fluffy lace. And as you can imagine, the pumpkin patch is really taking over. Now so I cast on the Oslo hat, which is very much this shape that I want. It's also by Petite Knits, same as the weekend hat. But this one is all stockinette. So rather than a rib like this weekend hat, this is all stockinette. So of course it wants to roll up. And then eventually you join the brim. I'll knit this end of the brim to the top, or I'll knit them together. So I'm trying to decide, I don't know, do I like that? I mean, it's not bad. I think it's a cool effect, but in terms of a hat that I want to wear, I don't know. I figure I'll knit on it this week and see whether I like it. If I don't like it, I'm going to tear it out and do something else. But I just realized I totally digressed and did not finish telling you all about Bo's Oxbow cardigan. How did I get sidetracked? Anyway. Okay, so did you all know this? You probably did. If you are knitting a pair of socks, say, right, and cuff down. So you start knitting the cuff, you knit down, and you make a mistake. A couple rows back, like, oh, I'll tink back. Or maybe it's like half the sock back. You can literally tink back, no problem. You can even remove your needles and just thread the yarn out, right? Like it just pulls out. Apparently, if you finish the sock, say, and then you decide, I want a different cuff, and you take apart from the other end, it doesn't come apart like that. Like you can't just pull out the yarn. I guess I've never done that, thank goodness, because I have to tell y'all, I started working on Bo's sleeve the other night, and I was suddenly in a very bad mood. I looked at Bo and I was like, you are quickly becoming very unknitworthy. Not that it's his fault at all. I just had such a hard time pulling the yarn out. So apparently on that one, because I tried to rip from this end, it must have been knit. I haven't looked at the pattern again. It must have been, because remember I told y'all I had to knit the sleeve separately and then seam it together. That's what the pattern calls for. I don't think I'll ever do that again. And to me, that is, definitely designing a pattern, something to keep in mind, because if you're knitting a sleeve separately and then seaming it on and you find out that it's too long, you can't just easily shorten it from down here. You almost have to go back the other way. I don't know, which I guess if I had had him try it on, I probably should have had him try it on before I did the seaming, and so that I could have gone back some rows then. Anyway, it's a big old mess, y'all. I have finally managed to take up the amount of yarn that I needed to. I ended up cutting it close to where I was ready to make the shortening happen, and just knit the cuff from that point. And then I unraveled the yarn from that direction. And of course it came out just fine. But needless to say, now I'm having to pick up stitches, and there's a lot of knits and purls, and I'm not good at picking up stitches in the middle of a, it's one of the reasons why I don't really care like the afterthought heel because and it never fails when I'm picking up the stitches. I'm going in one row and then suddenly I'm down a row and it's like, wait, am I in the same row now or did I drop or did I go up? You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly doing that. So I'm having to fiddle around and get the right stitches on the sleeve. And of course, now because his sweater is under construction, he can't wear it now during our coolest spell of the season. That's too bad. He's just going to have to wait. So I'm going to try to work on that this weekend and see if I can't get it figured out. So, oh, Deb, it's making the rounds. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, Liz, you need to move to Central Florida if you want more water in your life. There's plenty of water. Of course, they're not all made for like swimming and all that. But if you like boating and skiing and things, this is definitely a great area to live. Oh, good, Deb. I'm glad you like the pink and the red. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, now I know that is how it works. If you ever try to rip out a project from the opposite direction from where you started, you're going to have some problems. Okay. What else? We did. All right. So there's not really a shop update, y'all. I've been busy dyeing up some wholesale orders and some special orders. If you requested Cloud Dancer as a special order, those should ship Monday. And as well as anybody who did a special order from Distaff Day, those should ship out early next week because I'm getting those dyed up as we speak. And I'm busy dyeing up some colorways for Sun Kissed, which is 1 week from today. So, yeah. And I'm excited about that. I will still do a live because Sun Kissed is literally like 45 minutes from us. And so we'll go over Friday morning and set up and then be back in time for the live. So I will do a live. And then I did want to show y'all, the fade sets, the Sweet Treats fade set. If you want to pre-order that, it's only going to be up for another day or so, and then I'll take it down. So, because I'm going to start dyeing those up early in the week, and then I'll just go ahead and take them off pre-order for a while. All right, so here is, I was showing my dyeing to knit people saw this first, and then I did a post. They saw the beginnings of it. So, and at Distaff Day, I think a couple people asked, "You going to do a new collection? You getting ready for, a new collection?" And I wasn't really planning on it, and I'm not sure what happened. I blame this whole focus on botanicals and plants for the Dying to Knit group, because as I've been digging into and looking up images of different flowers and plants and things like that, I've come across some beauties. And I realized that I have not used enough of them for color inspiration. So in playing with color, I have kind of accidentally happened upon a collection of colors. These are not in the shop as of yet. The first color that I did, and I showed this to my Dying to Knit group. So it's looking very espresso brown on my monitor right now. But it actually, depending on the light that you look at it in, do you see that purple coming through? It is a deep, deep, dark, purpley brown. Like if you've ever seen those really dark eggplants in the store, that's what it reminds me of. But I already have a colorway named eggplant. We were talking about this in the group. We can't have, sometimes I inadvertently, if there's a colorway that would name that was very kind of obscure or it was a one of a kind or something, I might forget about it and use the name again. I don't like to do that though. So if I at all think I named a colorway that before, I won't use that name because I would hate for somebody to be like, okay, I have two in the same color. For example, Tutti Frutti I named that in the Color Riot Fade set that I did. I just happened to come across something somewhere else and I was like, oh, I had already used that name. Dag nabbit. I don't know. For some reason, that kind of irritates me. So right now, this colorway is called Espresso. It is beautiful. I have used aubergine, Deborah Sue. Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking of because I was Googling some things of, what are some other things that are in that same shade. So I'm not sure. Right now, this is just called Espresso. We'll see what it becomes. And then I did something. There's a plant called a sand cherry. It's a bush. And I believe my sister-in-law has one of these in her front flower bed. It's this massive thing. And it's this deep, dark brown. And then the outside, I don't think it's just the new growth. I mean, definitely the new growth, but at some point I think it changes. Anyway, it's a deep, dark cherry red. And so it's called, I don't know if that's why it's called that, but it's called a sand cherry. So that inspired these next two colorways. This was my first go at it, is this one, which has some of that espresso and that deep dark cherry. And then do y'all recognize this purple? Purple leaf plum, baby. And I showed this to Bo because this was originally going to be sand cherry. And I was like, nah, it's not quite it. And Bo said, oh, it looks like chocolate covered cherries. And I was like, oh, that's a great name. I don't think I've used that name before. So y'all tell me if you remember that I have. So this will be chocolate covered cherries. And then sand cherry. Look at that baby. Now, it's that espresso, which does have that deep, dark shade of purple, but it's not the same as purple leaf plum. So, and they're very close, I know, but I don't care. I love them both equally. They are like my children, and I want them. So you have, here you've got espresso, and then this is sand cherry, and then this would be chocolate covered cherries. And this, it's already labeled because it's in the shop. This is purple leaf plum. Did y'all see that? And what's cool about purple leaf plum is that it actually comes from a brown dye powder. But when the pH changes, because I use citric acid, well, I say it's not just the pH. When I use citric acid, it comes out this deep, dark purple with varying tones of purple in there. When I use vinegar to dye this, it comes out like a deep, dark brown and just brown. It was the one that I called How Now Brown Cow because I dyed it with vinegar on some of the stellina bases and it came out looking totally different. So it's the citric acid that does this. So anyway, that's purple leaf plum, which I have loved from the get-go. I have a sweater in it and everything. So this is probably, I haven't had any samples knit from it. I haven't had any socks cranked because it literally just came to life this past week. I just couldn't resist playing with color. And sometimes when I get something stuck in my brain, it's like I have to get it out. So I only dyed these on a couple of bases. They're not in the shop. And I'm not sure they might go in the shop next week, but I probably not because, and I'll just say it like, I'm not trying to complain. I don't want to complain, but I've noticed I have a tendency, I don't know why it always seems to happen this way. I mean, I think I do know why it happens this way. Inevitably, when I'm ready to release a new collection or a new set of colorways, it seems like it's always on the weekend that I have a festival. So, which is fine, except that sometimes it's a little bit, it's just a lot of things coming together at once. I have to make a bunch of new listings on the website, as well as prepping for a festival, packing up yarn, and it can get a little bit, there's a lot of moving pieces. And so I was like, I'd kind of like to change up. Somehow I don't do that many festivals, right? So surely I can somehow change up my release dates. But because I want my online customers to have access when, my in-person people also have access. So, but Bo made a point. He said, well, and as I told him, I'm not just going to hold back yarn and not take it to a festival if I've already dyed it up. That just doesn't make sense. That just duh. And he said, well, you could always take the yarn with you to the festival, and then whatever sells, you re-dye and you release it the next week online. There's nothing wrong with that. And I was like, that's a good point. I could do that. So we'll see what I get dyed up next week, because I have a lot of bases at this point that I would want to dye this up on. And I don't really, sometimes I'll release it on a few bases at a time. I prefer not to do that. I prefer to, like, in a one fell swoop, these are all the bases that this colorway or these colorways are on. And another thing, I may have taken on a little side project. I won't talk a lot about it because it's not, it's a long way from anything coming to fruition. It is related to dyeing. My dyeing to knit people know a little bit about it, but I don't want to talk too much about it because, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not ready for that. It is related to dyeing, so I'm not going anywhere, but it is taking a little more time than I thought it would. So I have to keep that in mind as well, because someone else is kind of relying on me for certain parts of things that they're doing, and I certainly don't want to let them down. So having said all that, yeah. So I'm glad that y'all like those colors, and I will let you know as soon as they are getting ready to be released. Oh, and I know, Linda, I was thinking the same thing. It's like perfect for, you've got Bridgerton coming out, you've got Valentine's Day coming up, all the things. Like, this is perfect. So, but I'll get it out in time for that. By the way, I read an article on, I meant to post it in the Swan City Stitchers on Benedict, who is the subject of season 4 of Bridgerton, and it kind of gave a synopsis of his life. Because if you're like me, you watch these seasons and then so much time passes between a season that you're like, okay, wait a minute, what happened? Who was he with, or what was he doing? So it was a nice little synopsis about Benedict's life so far. Anyway, oh, thank you, Linda. You're so sweet. I love it. Hey, Jill, I'm glad to see you on here. Beautiful fade set. Thank you. I appreciate. Plum latte. Oh, I missed that. Okay, hang on. Oh, look at Bo with all the ideas. Plum latte, black iris. Ooh, that's a good one. Hang on. I gotta write this down. Just one moment. Let me look these up. Plum latte, black iris. These might be interesting names, or even, Liz brought, very nice, black iris. Very good. Y'all are so good. Thank you. I appreciate that. All the help, because I need it. That's right, Kim. When you get inspired, sometimes you just got to go with it, for sure. Festival frenzy, Tish. You're right. I do need to come up with that. Anyway, so yeah. So I also, speaking of festivals, I did add, I realized I always put, on my website, once I've handed over my money, I always put on my website that festival. I'll put a graphic up. And I had forgotten one, and that is Stitchburg, which is in Pittsburgh, and that is in August 21st through the 23rd, which is a great festival. It's a 3-day festival. That's right. I remember that. And because we were pretty pooped afterwards, but it's such a great festival because they really have a lot of classes and activities and stuff in that festival. So if you live close by and you've never entertained the thought of going to that festival, I encourage it because it's great, which is why we're going back. And then, okay, so a couple of important announcements. Monthly Mini Color Club went out earlier this week, so I'm not going to show it yet in case someone hasn't gotten theirs. And also, I think I already mentioned Cloud Dancer. If you pre-ordered Cloud Dancer, then that should, I think those have all been dyed up, and they should be going out this next week. And also, speaking of Cloud Dancer, Knit and Stitch Boutique and Coco is getting their own shipment of Cloud Dancer going out today for them, and on a variety of bases for her. And then also, if you are Common Thread in St. Pete is also getting a shipment, not of Cloud Dancer, but a variety of other colorways as well. So you can check that out also. All right. Linda, Festival Frenzy in purples, reds, and blacks. Ooh, that actually would look good. All right. We might have to do like some colorway brainstorming together. We should have one of those sessions to do that for sure. Anyway, yeah. All right. So I think that's all that I have. Trying to think what's coming up. So next week, I will talk to you also about our February fiber challenge. I hope that it's something that y'all will relate to and like. I'm kind of excited about it. And also in the newsletter, you probably, if you haven't read, you might. I put a picture and a link to Pam's interstellar hat pattern. If you like color work, this is the hat for you, because it has a main color, and then you can choose, you can really choose as many contrast colors as you like throughout the pattern. It's really cool, and it's such a great hat, and is perfect for our January fiber challenge as well. And I also put the discount code because she's giving us a 20% off discount code, 20% off her pattern. I put the code in there for you. Yes, I'm glad that you're happy, Donna. I like it. So, all right, I think that's it. I hope that you all stay warm. I know we're getting like, they said it's a slight warm up on Saturday and then another cold front on Monday. So again, if we're cold, I know that the rest of y'all are cold. So, but hey, that's plenty of knitting and crochet, whatever, fiber crafting time, right? So I hope that y'all get plenty of that in. You know how to reach me if you need me. Carolyn at Swan City Yarns. Just send me an email. And yeah, I'll be right back here next week, same time and same place. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. By the way, if you have not, for some reason, subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We just reached over 500 people. So I'm so excited about this. Very excited. Thank you all for all of your participation and your help with that. All right. Y'all take care. Bye, everybody.